Hey everybody, welcome back to Just in Japan. Today I'm going to talk about moving to Tokyo without a four-year degree. Is it possible? Short answer is yes. Long answer is also yes, but I'll get into that a little bit more. Moving to Japan without a degree. How do you do it? So what most people do and what I'm doing is I'm going there as a student. If you guys aren't familiar with the immigration laws between Japan and the US, there are some countries that there's called a holiday working visa, which essentially means you can take a vacation in that country and you can also legally work in that country. Unfortunately, Japan and US do not have that visa agreement set up, so you are not allowed to work on most visas, like just your standard vacation visa, your 90-day traveler's visa or visitor's visa. You are not allowed to legally work on that. So if you plan on living there for a longer period of time, you're going to have the legal ability to work. So on a student visa, you can work, but it is only part-time. You can only work about 29 hours a week while you're there and while you're studying, while you're in school. So it is helpful to have that ability, and it is helpful that student visa allows you to stay there for a longer period of time. So what websites do you use to get that started? So I personally used Gogo Nihon, and Gogo Nihon is a completely free website that helps you pick a school, walks you through all the paperwork you need. They send you all the paperwork you need. They translate all the paperwork you need. They have a specific person who's assigned to help you with your case, and they walk you through all the steps all the way through. It's completely free service. It's been so helpful. I've heard about it from a few other YouTubers on here and also just by digging around online, and honestly I cannot recommend it enough. If you just want to have the easiest access and easiest way to get there and pick a school, just use Gogo Nihon. Info you'll need in order to sign up for the school. You do need a lot of information, and they don't really tell you how much you actually really need until you start the application process. So I'll give you a little breakdown of what information you're going to need. So you're going to need your work history, and I'm talking about your entire work history. You don't need proof, you just need an explanation of the years you worked there, the name of the company, your role, what you did, and what year, and how many years you worked there. And that's immediately going out of high school. If you didn't work going out of high school, make sure you do tell them that, because I had a period of unemployment, but I was in community college, so I wasn't employed. You also need a copy of your diploma. You need a copy of your diploma. You will need a current passport. You will need a picture of your current passport. You will also need to, if you visited the country in the past, you will also need to prove that you visited the country and why you were there. I visited in 2009 and then again in 2019, but I didn't have my original passport because I had to renew it, and I destroyed the original passport, which had my original visa stamps in it. So they did ask for that, they asked for, a boarding pass or itinerary from the first time I went. So if you can have all that information beforehand and at least give it to them to show them like when you visited the country, if you had visited Japan in the past. They also want your entire school history from grade school all the way up to high school, all the way up through college. So just be prepared to get those dates, because it took me a while to think about when did I go to elementary school and how long was I in from first to sixth grade. So you do need information as well. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind as you're filling out the application. How much money does it cost? This is a question that I think a lot of people really want to know. Like they want to know, like, can I move there without a degree? So yes, you can, but you need to be going through a school, or you need a company to sponsor you, but that becomes difficult when you don't have a degree. So I think if you don't know the language, the first step is go there through a language school so you can focus on learning the language and becoming fluent, because that will help you and open up so many more doors while you're there. Even if you don't have a degree, if you're not fluent in the language, you're not going to be able to really find work easily. You'd find more work if you could actually speak the language. So money. That's going to differ depending on the school you go to. My school in particular is, I believe it's about $15,000 for 2 years, and that's just tuition. That doesn't include books, that doesn't include living expenses, that doesn't include fund money for buying whatever I want. So if you plan to go and you're going to support yourself, make sure you save a lot of money beforehand, just so you can live a little bit and spend time learning the language before you start working, because on a student visa there, you can legally work. It's just part-time work, 29 hours a week or so. So I have, a big chunk of change saved up, and I'm basically going to be supporting myself because I don't have anyone living here that can be sending me money monthly. So I had to save up a lot of money. I took out my 401k from my job that I got fired at, because I'm like, hey, that's money that I need now, so I'm going to use it for this purpose. Japan's like visa and immigration laws. So this is another thing too that I think some people are confused about, as far as like how long can I stay on what. So if you live in North America, I'll basically break down the visas. So you have your traveler's visa, your basic 90 days traveler visa. That's what everybody gets if they're just visiting the country. You cannot work on that. You're just there to visit the country, you're on vacation, etc., etc. 2 is a student visa. A student visa is a visa that is a student, duh, like it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're taking college courses, if you're taking any sort of like language school courses, a student visa will allow you to live in the country while you're still studying and while you're still enrolled in that school. So you can study up to 2 years at my school on a student visa, so I took the max amount on that because I want to live there as long as possible. There's a third option. The third option would be having a company in Japan sponsor your visa, but that becomes tricky if you don't have a degree or if you're not already living in the country. They have to have a reason to basically have you work that job rather than a native Japanese person. And there's a fourth option where there will be, let's say, a company here that has a headquarters in Japan, and you want to move to Japan, so you somehow work with the company and you can get transferred from your headquarters to the Japan headquarters. And that's the option that I was trying to do before I was fired from my job. But honestly, it makes more sense for me to go to a language school first and just focus on the language, because if you don't know the language, it's going to be really hard for you to get around. So those are some things that I did. This is how I'm getting to Japan without a 4-year degree. So yes, it is possible. If you have any questions about the program I used or the website in general, please post a comment below and I can answer it for you. I can help you with anything you might need to the best of my ability. And stay tuned for future videos. I have my COE coming soon, and as soon as I get that, I will definitely document the process on how you turn that into your student visa. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you around.